The RSM Alliance has 91 affiliated firms around the United States and Canada with professional service firms that we build relationships with to create more compelling solutions for our clients and our people. So I'm responsible for putting together the program, organizing the program, and overseeing the relationships that we have to create value for these independently owned firms. RSM has one of our core purposes is to instill confidence in a world of change. And our objective with that is to instill confidence in the professional service firms in a sea of change. So part of my role is to make sure that we are bringing forth solutions and services to help these firms be more compelling to their clients, be more compelling to their people, remain independent, and continue to achieve their aspirations. We have more than 12,000 people that are part of our community that utilize the resources that we make available to them, whether that's training or education or tools that they can use in serving their clients or sharing best practices and thought leadership. So what I enjoy most is finding those organizations that are aligned to RSM and kind of how we think about creating compelling experiences for clients and people and bringing them into our organization. In addition to that, part of our role is to also bring resources not only from RSM, but other thought leaders and strategic partners and consultancies that enable us to really create a more compelling and valuable client experience. There's no doubt that as organizations continue to evolve, and particularly professional service firms, which is what makes up our Alliance members in our Alliance program, the world's getting more complex. And it's moving at an ever more rapid pace with technology and data. And so the skill sets that we have to adapt to, and the things that we have to adapt to as a profession, whether it's regulatory changes or dealing with clients that are now serving or building business worldwide, or whether it's working in a more flexible work environment because of the global pandemic, certain types of things, we have to change our operating models. And the evolution of even, you think about the evolution of organizations, going from being a profession or being a CPA as an example and getting a license to then working in a global organization that's serving middle market leaders globally. The pace of change is just continues to accelerate. And I think what we try to do is be able to bring various resources from different, what we often describe as ecosystem partners that help us and help our member firms, again, be able to tap in when they need it, meet them and their needs where they are. And I think that's what makes the Alliance really compelling. What gets me excited about the potential for member firms to be in alignment? I think it's the opportunity for member firms to really invest in their organizations, in growing their organizations. Obviously, I see a lot of firms across our membership base that they're doing really great work. They're adding value to clients, they're adding value to the people, they're shaping the experiences, but they're busy doing the work. They're busy on the how, if you will. And I think if you look at the organizations that are growing at a faster rate and a faster pace, and they're growing magnetic organizations that are attracting the best people and attracting the best clients, are the organizations that have invested in themselves in the sense of, at a leadership level, making a true commitment to who they are. And that's when I think about the word alignment. It's not just having a conversation about, hey, here's what we're going to focus on. It's rather thinking about what do we stand for? What are the values that we want to represent as an organization? And more importantly, what are the behaviors that we want to make sure we continue to embrace and collectively exhibit to not only the external marketplace, but also our own internal teams. Going back to the strategic ecosystem thought, one of the things that how we create value for our members is developing strategic partners. And so having a relationship with Karrikins organization, for example, gives us the opportunity to bring in thought leaders that have a process if you will, or have the type of thought leadership that can help our member firms move the needle on alignment. And so when I think about this work, it needs to be intentional in the sense of that. And having a coach and having a team around you that can help facilitate a leadership team to actually do the type of, get engaged in the kind of conversations that create alignment, not just, hey, how do we align, but how do we actually have to do this, is critically important. And I think the relationship that the RSM Alliance has with the Karrikins Group, we found a partner that we have a lot of confidence that they have not just a process that needs to be implemented, but rather an organization that will come in with a level of curiosity to try to understand, where is this organization in terms of the degree of alignment they have, and what are the steps that we need to take from here to create greater alignment. Because that's what I think, all of our organizations probably have some level of alignment. The question is, are they aligned to optimize their organization? Harvey had the opportunity that there was a major transition going on in his business, in the sense of a number of senior level partners that were going to be retiring, a lot of younger next generation leaders that were willing and hungry to step up. And quite frankly, they were interested in what was Harvey's viewpoint of where he wanted to take the organization. And I think Harvey had a lot of ideas, but one of the things that the traits that I admire most about Harvey is his willingness to say, hey, I don't have all the answers, and I want to collaborate with a team of leaders. And so when we began talking about, hey, what's the platform that you want to lead the organization from, we got into a really great conversation about, well, what are the behaviors that you're holding your partners accountable to? And he reflected to me, I'm not sure we have a really great we have a set of core values that's on our website, but I'm not sure everybody embraces those or might even know what those are. And so it created an opportunity for us to dialogue the importance of, well, we have to start foundationally on what sometimes people think, well, culture and core values, but more importantly, that serves as the foundation for alignment. And I think Harvey began to lean into that work. And one of the things a gift that it gave him right away, it gave him insights into what leaders within his organization, what they really stood for. And he did a masterful job with the help of Karrikins and the work that you all did in really articulating, what do we want to stand for? Not what do we want to do and what we want to accomplish and the type of revenue we want to grow, but what do we want to stand for as an organization? Yeah, so very early on, after Harvey had been nominated and taken over, assumed the role of managing partner, we got into a conversation about, hey, how could he create a foundation for greater alignment? And one of the programs that we make available with our partnership with the Karrikins Group to our member firms is a program called Leading High Performance, LHP. And I started talking to Harvey about what that could mean for him. And one of the things that Harvey reflected to me on is he didn't want to make it wasn't just his vision. He is a very collaborative leader, and he wanted to make sure there was an opportunity for his core leadership team to speak into, what is it that we want to stand for? What do we want to align to as it relates to that? And I think LHP gave him a perfect opportunity to be facilitated through a process that helped them establish what they stood for. What I started to witness is his leadership team starts to build a greater degree of trust in him, that he was actually leading in a way that he was opening up the dialogue and allowing them to contribute to what this should look like. What should this organization become? What should it stand for? And that opened up a whole different type of a conversation. I think it created a starting point for, hey, I can really trust Harvey in this work. And Harvey started to be able to understand his leaders at another level, which again, I think at the end of the day, that's the starting point. That was his starting point for a journey that then started to create a platform by way of which this leadership team could begin the really hard work across their enterprise of roughly 300 people now, to embed these behaviors more systematically, which you roll it forward 2 years, there's no doubt there's evidence everywhere in the organization. Now today, you can hear the language, you can see the change in many of the people being aligned to the framework that he's trying to create. If we could get more member firms, whether it's participate in leading high performance, but invest in their organizations to start doing alignment work and realizing that's an investment in their organization as much as it is an investment in terms of defining their strategy. I think there's a huge potential to transform the effectiveness of our alliance program and the members that make it up. I've seen just tremendous growth in how they're interacting, the degree of trust, the degree of vulnerability they're exhibiting with each other, and you can see the effectiveness of they're getting to better decisions. They're not necessarily always in agreement, but they're getting to better decisions that is helping their organization become more effective, and I think helping to achieve the vision that they're setting forth to want to accomplish. I'm delighted, through this process, Harvey has become a dear friend and a colleague and a confidant that I feel like I can share my own leadership journey with. And more importantly, I love seeing the success that PB Mares is starting to achieve, the type of growth that they are achieving, but more importantly, the experience that they're creating for their people. All of our professional service firms are we're a people business. So at the end of the day, yes, we want to have nice revenue growth and we want to have nice profitability and we want to deliver great value to clients. But I think his organization is positioned to create real opportunities for his people now. And I think they believe it, which is just so exciting to see. And I'm excited for him to be able to, and I'll be excited to watch his journey continue to move on. We are busy professionals, taking care of clients, taking care of our people, dealing with whatever the world has to offer to us. And what I would say back to those, or what I would suggest for maybe some of those leaders to think about, how we spend our time, it's our choice. So choosing to spend time on working on the business or executing those types of things, are we willing to have the courage to create the space, which I know is a slogan that Karrikins often uses and I've reflected on in the coaching and mentoring that I've received. Are we willing to create the space to lean into this work? And I think what makes it sometimes difficult for the membership that we have is it's not an input and an output. It's kind of like making a diamond. You have to keep putting pressure, constantly putting pressure until eventually the piece of coal turns into a diamond. And that's how I look at alignment work. There's inputs and inputs, and sometimes you're like, I'm not sure this thing is going anywhere. And then all of a sudden there's a tipping point where there's been enough input and enough pressure and enough dialogue that all of a sudden the diamond starts to appear, right? But I think it's having the confidence, having the confidence, and having probably more importantly, the courage to create the space to start to begin to do the work. So I would love to see more member firms get involved in alignment work because I see the potential for them to create a more compelling experience for their clients, probably more importantly, a more compelling experience for their people, and to create an organization that is inspiring, that people are attracted to come work for them, that they're not struggling to find people or to retain people, but they're creating an organization that has a sense of meaning. And I think that's what people are looking for. They're looking for meaning in their work. And I think the alignment piece is so important for leaders in our organizations and in our members to declare what that is. That's the role of leaders, is to define that. And you define that from collecting information from different points of view in the organization, but it takes courage to do that. And I think our membership, the quality of the firms, and we have again, high performing firms, we have good quality members, but I just feel like there's an opportunity to even do more, right? And that's where I see more firms leaning into alignment is going to unlock things and unlock the potential in their ability to really achieve their aspirations and meet all of the goals that they might have. But more importantly, will really help them define and create an organization that is centered around having meaning and purpose in what they do. I've seen evidence of the firms, and we have more firms than just Harvey that have done the LHP program and have suggested that they've benefited. I think what makes PB Mayer special is they took the LHP program and they continue to apply the pressure. They continue to come back to the work. They continue to reference it in their conversations. They continue to modify and make tweaks, and you can see that growth. And so what I would encourage is it's not an event. You know, alignment work or even any type of strategy plan, it's not an event. It's a journey that we have to go on. I mean, I want to thank Karrikins Group because you've helped us bring a process. And more importantly, you didn't just come with a program and said, hey, we've done this with other organizations and here's how they should do it. I think Karrikins shows up with the same kind of core values of caring, curiosity, collaboration, critical thinking, and having the courage to lean in and adapt, not only adapt the methodology you use, but adapt it so that it fits and it makes sense for the respective firm, for Harvey's firm. And I think there's that opportunity that exists, and that's what makes it such a great strategic fit and a strategic partnership for us is we want organizations that are going to come in and meet our members where they are, not come in and say, hey, here's a program that you should be taking and we know it's effective because we deployed it here. But having the confidence in what you do and a real passion around that work, I think that's what separates Karrikins.